Hi everyone, welcome to the VMD tutorials for beginners. Today we will learn together how to calculate the radius of gyration of a protein structure trajectory resulted from a molecular dynamics simulation using VMD. But as we used to do before we go to VMD, let's understand the theoretical or the concept of the radius of gyration calculations. So to understand the concept of radius of gyration, you have to understand the concept of the center of mass of an object, which is defined as the average position of all the parts of the system weighted according to their mass. And I think you can understand that for a simple rigid or regular system, the center of mass would be identical with its geometrical centroid. For example, for a circle, it's a circular system. The center of mass would be the center of the circle. For a square would be the center of the square, because if you apply some force here, it will rotate around the center of the circle, and the same for this triangle, and the same for all the regular objects. But we need to have some mathematical formula to calculate the center of mass. We cannot determine everything by eye, and for this there is a formula to calculate the center of mass in each x. For example, in x direction, it would be m1, x1, m2, x2, m3, x3. So the summation of a weight vector divided by the summation of the mass of the objects, and will be the same for y and the same for z if you are working in 3 dimension. And to understand this better, let's solve this question. For example, I have here a system of 3 flat objects, m1 for example weighing 1 kilogram, m2 1 kilogram, and m3 is weighing 2 kilograms, and we are in the x direction, and one here is at 4 squares, and one here is at 6, and one here is at, say, 12. Okay, so if you want to calculate the location of center of mass in the x direction, would be 1 multiplied by 4, 1 multiplied by 6, and 2, which is the mass, multiplied by 12, divided by the summation of my mass. So I have my center of mass would be at 8.5, and also by the same, we can do the same for y direction. It's at 8.5. So at 8.5 here I have the center of mass somewhere between these 3 objects. And actually there is a very nice simulation way to make the concept of center of mass more clear in your mind. If you go to this website, you can create very nice objects and try it. Let's do it. If I open here, yeah. So what you do here is you can create geometry you want. For example, if I create a square, and this is my center of mass. If I make it longer, it will be the center of mass here. If I put some weight here, so the center of mass will be a little bit toward this weight. Okay, so let's apply some force, the gravity. Let's hang this object and say go. So it's going around my center of mass. We can reset, we can make a very simple square, and then we hang it, and then we say go. You see, so you can get a center of mass very easily, and the center of mass shouldn't be in the object, within the object itself. As we solve it in this example, we may have three objects like this. This is 1 kilogram, this is 1 kilogram, and this is, say, something like this. So the center of mass would be something in between here. This is identical to the example we were solving a couple of minutes ago, which is where we got the value 8.5. So it would be here. Okay, so if we hang it and we say go, so it will rotate around the center of mass. So I don't want to take you too much into physics, but you should go to some courses and you should come here and play. It is simpacket.com, and you can play. It's very enjoyable, by the way. You can create random stuff, and you can hang it like this and you say go, and even you can make it like this and you say go, and if I put it like this, it would fall down. Okay, so it's a nice game to play. So let's go back to VMD. Okay, so this is the same as the simulation we were doing with this website. Okay, so the website is here, simpacket.com, combuilder. Okay, so if we want to make a, we will not make it. It's the definition of center of mass would be the summation of my weight vector mi multiplied by its position in the 3 dimension or 1 dimension or whatever, divided by summation of my objects. Okay, So from here we can calculate the radius of gyration. The radius of gyration is a measurement of a distribution of atoms or object of the system, which is here a molecular structure because we are interested in proteins, with respect to its center of mass. So instead I was working here with only Ri, I should subtract from the center of mass. So now I'm working with respect to the center of mass. And be careful, this is the Rg square, so we should take the square roots, okay? So before this is here, I will explain to you how to comment on the data you will get from VMD, but before, let's go and perform it in VMD. So in VMD you need 3 scripts. The first script, I didn't write this script. These scripts are available in VMD library, but I will tell you briefly what is the object or the function of this script. The first script is calculating or defining your center of mass. Okay, you can, I don't want to make the video long, but you can go into its details, but it's free in the VMD library. Okay, so we have the center of mass. Then we need to calculate the radius of gyration. So the second script will calculate the radius of gyration, which is square roots summation of my Ri minus summation of center of mass squared by n, which is the mass. Okay, and this is the basic selections of VMD. I mean, if the script is working, don't waste your time in going into details. If you have time, yeah, you are welcome. Okay, so this is for the radius of gyration. So we need one more thing, which is the loop, because we are working with a trajectory. So we need to loop these calculations around a trajectory, and this is very simple with a while loop. You know, if the frame is increasing, keep looping and keep calculating, and save my data into whatever you call it. I call it rg.dat. Okay, so your output would be a data file or text file with named as rg. Okay, so I brought a protein and water trajectory from my simulations, and I have the PSF, and let's try it. Okay, I will go for VMD. Then, as we used to know, we have to get our protein structure file of the system, and then we need our trajectory. Since it's not long, but 750, so I'll drink some water. Yep, and you go to extensions, to TQ console, and you have to get sure that you have your scripts in your directory. And then what you need to do is you don't need to source all the scripts. You need only to source the one that calculates the RG. Okay, so you say source and you say rog TCL and you hit enter. And now it's calculating, but it will take some time because it's around 750. So it's even VMD is quite frozen. So it created the file here, but it's still empty because it's still calculating. So we will wait for 1 minute or something. I have to plug in my computer to make it stronger. Yep, still empty, still calculating. So we have to wait. So while waiting, let me refresh your I cannot, I wanted to play some graphical representations, but all the power of the computer are used to calculate RG, so I cannot do anything. I mean, there are different tools to do it. I mean, you can even have different scripts, but this is my way. It's quite simple, direct. So again, you need 3 scripts: one to calculate the center of mass, one to calculate the radius of gyration, and one to loop around the trajectory. Yeah, it works. So this is rg.dat, and this is the frame correspond to your radius of gyration in angstrom, of course. Because it's still working. Now we have 183. It will go till 750. So now you get the point. I will not wait it because it will take time. So I will stop here, and then I will show to you how to understand. So say we got this RG and want to plot it. Okay, so I will show you an RG figure I used in my previous publication about lipase enzymes, which is here. Let's focus on this one because there are many distinctions here. So you will get the values of the text files, the RG, and you plot it, and you plot it against time of the simulation. It was 100 nanoseconds. And then I have here a protein simulated in different organic solvents: toluene, methanol, ethanol, and cyclohexane, and water. And then you see in methanol and in ethanol, it was very, even in water here, it was very strong, high radius of gyration. But in non-polar organic solvent, the enzyme was having low radius of gyration. So could you guess what does it mean, high radius of gyration and low radius of gyration? I'll give you a second to think. Of course, high radius of gyration means lower stability for the protein, and low radius of gyration would be meaning higher stability, because the radius of gyration, by definition, away from mathematical definition for a protein, radius of gyration means the degree of compactness of your structure. How compact is your structure? So if your protein is less compact, more flexible, moving a lot, it's getting denatured. So a denatured protein would have very high radius of gyration, while a stable globular form of a protein would have lower radius of gyration. One of the main findings of this paper, which was focused on understanding the stability of proteins. Sorry, because VMD is taking all the computational power of my computer. So yeah, it stopped because I put in the end of my script to close VMD after I finish. So let me get you back here. Yeah, the aim of this paper was to understand how different organic solvents affect the stability of lipases. That's why we performed the simulations. So this one was one of our finding, that the structure becomes more rigid in non-polar solvent, while it's become unstable in polar solvents, because polar solvents are more flexible, and this simulation was at very high temperature. So to make long story short, radius of gyration is an indication of how compact is your structure. The higher radius of gyration is the lower stability of the less stable is your protein, and vice versa. The lower radius of gyration, as you see here, or stable one, the higher the stability. So now you got the point. What are you waiting? Go run simulation and calculate the radius of gyration and tell me whether your protein is stable or not. Thank you, and see you in the next video, and hope you are enjoying the video. So don't forget to like and subscribe, because this keeps me, it pushes me to go on, and despite the very tight schedule of my PhD. Thank you, and see you. Bye bye.